understand what ethical hacking is, let's see how ethical hackers actually work. Ethical hacking is not just a random activity. It's not a random activity where someone simply starts hacking system. Professional ethical hackers follow a structured and systematic approach known as ethical hacking lifecycle. This lifecycle helps organizations identify vulnerabilities, understand risks, and improve their overall security posture. Let's go through each phase one by one. First, we see how many phases are there. Firstly, reconnaissance. Total 5 phases are there. Firstly, reconnaissance, then scanning and enumeration, then gaining access, maintaining the access, and reporting. So, let's go through each phase one by one. So, first is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is basically information gathering. It is also known as information gathering. Before performing any security testing, ethical hackers need to understand the target's environment. What is target system? What network is target using? What technology is target using? During this phase, information is collected about that particular target, such as what is the website, what are the domains and subdomains, what is IP address, what are technologies being used, what is the publicly available information, is there any publicly available employee information, what are social media profiles of that particular target, what is the network infrastructure. Basically, the goal is to gather the information, as much as possible. So think of it like a planning a journey. Before you travel somewhere, you first collect information about the destination, routes, and surrounding. Ethical hackers do the same before testing a system. A strong reconnaissance phase often leads to more successful security assessment. So in reconnaissance, we have two main things, which is firstly passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance. In this lecture, we'll see the practical side of passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance. What is passive reconnaissance? Passive reconnaissance is basically gathering the information without getting in touch with the target. That is just scrolling the social media platforms or performing who scan, getting their IP address, or via Google Talking, we can see what are the multiple domains they are using. And next is active reconnaissance. Active reconnaissance is basically scan that particular target, like get in touch with that target, so that we get what are the open doors, what are multiple ports which are open. We'll see further what are the ports and protocols, so that we'll be able to understand what Nmap is. So we'll see in practical about passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance. There we'll see how to perform passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance via Nmap. So let's move to the another phase, that is scanning and enumeration. So once information is gathered, the next phase is scanning. So scanning is basically to see what open ports is target using, what active systems are there, what are the services basically target is using. Mainly, what is enumeration? Enumeration is basically extracting very detailed information about the target. So during this phase, the hacker identifies what are the active devices, what are the open ports, running services, what is the operating system target is using, is there any user account, or is there any potential vulnerability. For example, if a web server is running a outdated software version, It may contain known security vulnerabilities. This phase helps create a map of the target environment that highlights possible entry points that attackers might use. Think of this phase as a checking all the doors and windows of the building to see which one are open. So let's move towards next phase, that is gaining access. So the third phase is gaining access. We have seen first two phases, that is reconnaissance and scanning and enumeration. So the third phase is gaining access. After identifying potential vulnerabilities in the scanning phase, during the scanning phase, the ethical hacker now checks whether those vulnerabilities can actually be exploited. In simple terms, this phase answers the important question: can an attacker really use this weakness to gain unauthorized access? Can attacker really use this weakness, this vulnerability to gain unauthorized access? The goal is not to damage the system, but to safely test and verify the vulnerability is genuine. Let's understand with the simple example. Imagine a website has a login page. Imagine a website has a login page. So during scanning, the ethical hacker discovered that the login mechanism may be vulnerable. In the gaining access phase, ethical hacker tests whether that vulnerability can actually be used to bypass authentication and access the system without proper credentials. Similarly, if an outdated software version is found on the server, this outdated software version found on server, ethical hacker may test whether that weakness can be exploited to gain access to the server. This phase helps answer questions such as: can attacker access sensitive information? Can attacker log in without authorization? Can attacker gain higher privileges? So, the purpose, what is the purpose of this phase? The purpose of this phase is to understand the real impact of the vulnerability, to understand real impact of vulnerability, because not every vulnerability can be successfully exploited. Some vulnerabilities may have low impact, while others could allow complete control of the system. By testing these vulnerabilities in the controlled and authorized manner, ethical hackers help organizations to understand which weakness need immediate action, and remediation. This phase is extremely important because it separates the theoretical vulnerabilities from the real world security risks. So then, fourth phase is maintaining the access. After gaining access, the next phase is maintaining access. The fourth phase is maintaining the access. Now, ethical hacker evaluates what could happen if the real attacker would successfully gains the unauthorized. What if a real attacker would gain the access if he would have exploited that vulnerability? The goal is to understand the potential impact of the attack. So basically, to understand the potential impact of that vulnerability or that attack. So, questions considered during this phase are: could attacker remain inside the system or the network? Could they access any additional system? Could they steal any sensitive information? Or how much damage they could cause? For example, gaining access to the, let's take an example that if there is an employee account, so gaining access to one employee account might seem minor. It is an account. If attacker gains the access of this employee, it might seem minor. However, if that account can eventually lead to the admin access, if it leads to the admin access, it impacts become much more serious. Definitely, impact will become much more serious. So this phrase helps understand organization. What are the true consequences of security vulnerabilities? So we have seen what is reconnaissance, what is scanning and enumeration, what is gaining access, what is maintaining access. The next and the last phase is reporting. So final phase is reporting. This is often considered the most important phase because all these findings are documented and communicated to the organization. After all, finding vulnerabilities is useful only if they can be fixed. A professional report, basically whatever the report, whatever professional report it is, it considers of executive summary, whatever vulnerabilities attacker have find, that is ethical attacker hacker has find, what is the risk rating, what is the impact analysis, evidence and screenshots, proof of concept, and what are the recommendation to fix that vulnerability. So the report helps management, system administrator, and security team to understand what was discovered, and what actions need to be taken to fix those weaknesses. So good ethical hacker doesn't just carry problems; they also help organization to solve this. They also help organization to fix it. So ethical hacker always use this ethical hacking life cycle to pen test any system, any network, or any application. First is reconnaissance, scanning and enumeration, gaining access, maintaining access, and reporting. So in next phase, we'll see the practical of what is passive reconnaissance and what is active reconnaissance via environment. So let's move towards practical. In this session, we have seen what is cybersecurity, why does cybersecurity matters, what is ethical hacking, what are type of hackers, white hat hackers, black hat hackers, and grey hat hackers. The CIA tried the detailed about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then we have seen ethical hacking life cycle. In that, we have seen a theory of reconnaissance, scanning and enumeration, gaining access and maintaining access and report. Okay. So now we'll move on to the practical session as we have already discussed this many things. Before we start learning practical concept of reconnaissance, scanning and enumeration, gaining access, or any cybersecurity tool, it is important to build a strong foundation. For this, we'll begin with the Kali Linux, one of the most widely used operating system in the cybersecurity industry. Kali Linux comes with hundred of pre-installed security and penetration testing tool, making it an essential platform for cybersecurity professionals. So in the practical session, we'll explore some of the basic commands of Kali Linux and understand how to navigate and work within the operating system. So later when we begin the detailed cybersecurity course, we will take a deep dive into Kali Linux, detail its architecture and advanced uses. For now, we'll see some of the basic commands of Kali Linux. So let's start with the Kali Linux and the fundamental that every cybersecurity professional should know. Let's start. So now that we have understood the basic concept of cybersecurity and ethical hacking, let's move towards practical demonstration. So we have seen ethical hacking life cycle. Before learning any tool, before learning reconnaissance practical, it is very important to understand the environment in which many cybersecurity professional works. One of the most commonly used operating system in cybersecurity is Kali Linux. However, instead of installing Kali Linux directly on your laptop, we usually run it inside a virtual machine using a software called VirtualBox or VMware. You can install VirtualBox from here, virtualbox.org. You can click here on download
and download. This is the interface. So why VirtualBox? VirtualBox is the virtualization software that allows us to create a virtual computer inside our existing computer. In simple words, it allows us to run another operating systems without removing the current one. So from here, you can create a operating system. This is new. Now I have already created Kali Linux, which we are going to see. So let's see what Kali Linux is, and it is the most important operating system. Before understanding any other tool, let's move towards Kali Linux first. The operating system running inside the virtual box is Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the Debian-based Linux distribution developed specifically for cybersecurity professionals. It comes with the hundred of pre-installed software tools used for penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, digital forensics, network analysis, and security auditing. So those are the built-in tools in the Kali Linux. We have attached the installation video on our LMS platform of CyberWear. So let's move towards practical of Kali Linux. So this is the terminal of the Kali Linux where we'll see what are the different commands of this operating system, how to use this. This is the terminal. This is the one of the most important component of Kali Linux is the terminal. The terminal allows us to communicate directly with the operating system using the commands. So the first command is sudo su. So Linux has different privilege level. Some task requires administrative level permission. So sudo here stands for, this is the command which allow us to execute commands with the elevated privileges. That is admin privileges, and SU stands for switch user. So we combine them as a sudo su. We switch to the root account. So sudo su will type the password of the Kali Linux, that is Kali, and I have entered into Kali Linux. So now if I want to see who am I, this is the command to see whether I am a root or which user. So here as I am in root terminal, here it will show it is root. Once I exit from here, once you type who am I, it will show that it is Kali, as it is a Kali user. So why it is important? In cyber security, user account and permissions are very important. Different user have different level access. This Kali normal user has different access and root user has different access. So next is, as we know in Windows, if we want to see the IP address, we type in command prompt, that is ipconfig. But here in Kali Linux, we type ifconfig. Okay, this is the IP address of my Kali Linux or IPA. Here it will give me a detailed info. Okay, so next is, as this is the command line interface, here we cannot move to a different directory via mouse. If we want to list out to display files and folders in this current terminal, so we'll type ls. ls will list out the current files and folders in the this directory. Okay, so here we have desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures at different directories. If I want to change my directory to the downloads, so we use a command that is cd downloads. Okay, so here if I want to list what's inside the download folder, I'll type ls. Okay, there is nothing in this folder. Okay, no problem, as I have recently installed and set up the Kali Linux. Okay, so if I want to go back to the Kali directory, I'll type cd dot dot, that is cd back. I don't understand. Okay, so what cd does, cd is change directory. It will change the directory. If I want to go to desktop, I'll type cd desktop. So here if I want to list out the directory, it is ls. Okay, so next command is, I hope you have understood the command cd and ls. Next command is pwd. pwd stands for print working directory. It tells us our current location in the Linux file system. So if I type pwd, it will show me home Kali desktop, and this is my current location. If I go back here, cd dot dot, and I'll do pwd, it will show me only home Kali. If I move to downloads and then I'll do pwd, it will show me home Kali downloads. So next is, we have understood how to see location via pwd, what is cd, ls, what is sudo su. So next command is mkdir. mkdir is make directory. Okay, it will create a new folder for us. I want to create a new folder, that is mkdir. I'll type the name of my folder, that is, let's consider Kali. Okay, then I want to list out if this folder is there or not. I'll do ls. Yes, you can see the folder is here. Via cd, I'll move in the folder. If I type pwd here, it will show me current location. Okay, so this is the importance of mkdir. It will make the directory. Okay, so in this Kali folder, I want to create a one more folder, right? So what I'll do, mkdir folder folder. Okay, then I list out if the folder I have made is there or not. Yes, it is there, right? So I want to move in that folder, cd folder, and okay, so let's go back to the Kali. Okay, so if I want to remove this directory, remove this folder, then I'll type mkdir, that is remove directory. Okay, this rmdir, that is remove directory, and the folder name. Now we'll see if the folder is there or not. No, it's not there. We have removed this command rmdir, that is remove directory. I have typed remove directory and type the folder name which we want to remove. Okay. So that is the make directory and remove directory command. To make any directory, make any folder, to remove any folder, we use rmdir. Okay. So after this, in this Kali folder, I want to make one file. Okay. So what I'll type? I'll type touch and want to make a file, that is node.txt. Okay. It will create a empty file for me. Let's see if this file is created or not. Yes, it has been created. Okay. If I want to put some text in it, what I'll do? I'll do nano node.txt. Okay. You can go back. What's the command? It is nano and this file name, that is node.txt. So, okay, I'll type I am the student. I'll save it via Control O, enter, and Control X. How to save the file? Control O plus Control plus enter plus Control X. So once you will do this, what you have to do? Control O, Control Center, and Control X. Okay. So now I have to see what's inside this node.txt. So what I'll type? I'll type cat. Type cat and my file name, that is node.txt. Yes, it is there. We have created one file. We have inserted some text via nano command in it. And to see what's there in the file, I have typed cat node.txt. It is here. Let's put some another text in it. Nano node.txt. I'm the student. I am the learner. Okay. Let's save this. Control O, enter, and Control X. Okay. Let's again type the command cat node.txt. Yes, we have made the changes in the file, and now I've typed cat node.txt, that is I am student and I am learner. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you all. We have seen how to make the directory, how to make the file. Okay, so let's move towards next command, that is history. Okay, so once I'll clear this terminal with the clear command and I'll type history. Okay, what history command is? This command shows all the previously executed commands, right? If I type history, it will show me all the commands I have typed till now, right? Recently we have typed this much command, right? From who am I, sudo su. What we have learned: sudo su, who am I, if config, IPA, ls, cd, that is change directory, okay, pwd, make directory, remove directory, touch to create the file, to create an empty file, nano, and cat. So this is the history command. Okay. Next is, if I want to see the host name of this computer, I'll type host name. What is the host name? That is Kali. This is the basic command. Is Kali. Okay. So till now we have seen multiple commands. We'll see one by one. What we have seen first, sudo su. It is used to switch the user. Sudo is sudo is super user and su is switch user. Switch the user to super user. Okay. Next we have seen who am I. It will show me the if I'm the user or root. Okay. Next is ifconfig. It will show me the IP of my laptop or this machine, or IPA shows IP. Right. Then we have seen how to list out the things. This is list, how to list out the files and folders in the directory. Okay, list the files and folders. Then we have seen cd, that is change directory, how to change the directory. Then we have seen cd back to the previous directory, right? Then we have seen pwd. It will show the current location, right? pwd stands for print working directory, current location of working directory. Okay. Then we have seen mkdir, that is make directory. Okay, it will help to make directory. Then we have seen rmdir, that is remove directory. Okay, this helps to remove the directory. Then we have seen touch command, which creates the empty file. Okay, then we have seen nano to write any content in the file, or nano helps to create file also. Okay, once we save what we have written in the file, it will save automatically. Okay, then we have seen cat to see what's there in the file, to display the content in the file. Okay, Then we have seen command history will list out the history. Okay. So those are the very basic commands of the Kali Linux which we have seen in our first practical. There, there will be different practical of the particular topic in the next lectures. I hope you have understood what is Kali Linux virtual machine. We have attached a installation video in our LMS. You can watch that and install Kali Linux on your system. As you have seen today, we have covered the fundamental of cybersecurity, including the CI triad, the ethical hacking life cycle, and in practical, we have completed some of the commands of Kali Linux. However, what we covered today is only an introduction to the vast world of cybersecurity. In our upcoming session, we will deep deeper into each of the topic. You will learn the actual tools used by cybersecurity professionals, understand how real world security assessment are conducted, and gain practical exposure, practical experience that will help you build strong foundation in cybersecurity. If you found this session valuable and want to learn ethical hacking from beginner to advanced level with the structured training, practical lab, industry relevant project, certification, and career guidance, then this is just the beginning. The cybersecurity program is designed to help learners develop practical skills through step by step learning approach and prepare them for real world cybersecurity roles. The cybersecurity industry is growing rapidly, and organizations across the world are actively looking for skilled professionals who can protect their systems, network, and digital assets. The knowledge and skill you start building today can open the doors of exciting and rewarding career opportunities in future. Thank you for joining this free introductory session. I hope this has given you better understanding of cybersecurity and inspired you to explore this field further. Stay curious, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep building your skills. I look forward to seeing you in the next session where we'll explore this concept in much greater detail and begin our hands on cybersecurity journey. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.